Hey everyone, this is Gabby from mythesiscoach.com, and in today's video I want to talk about the discussion chapter. Now the discussion chapter comes straight after the results. So you might be wondering, what does this chapter actually need to do? And how does this differ from what I've already covered in my results section? So here we go. Here is what the chapter needs to do. The purpose of a discussion chapter is to relate what you have now found, which you shared in your results, to what already exists in the world of knowledge. So, what do people already know? And then, how has your discovery through your data collection, through your analysis, the stuff you shared in your results section, how does that fit in with what already exists? Now, if you think about it, with a piece of research, what you are doing is adding to that body of knowledge. I mean, that's what's so exciting about academia. They're all of us, all over the world, all the time, researching new things, finding things out, building on what people have already said, changing the way we understand the world. I mean, that's what we do. And in the discussion chapter, we're making this explicit. So let me share this with you over here. You can see over here, I've shown here that what you're doing in the discussion is you're taking your findings and you are relating it directly to existing literature, most of which you will have already shared in your literature review, which came a couple of chapters back. And now what you are doing in this chapter is you are telling the reader, okay, what are the similarities between the existing literature and what you discovered? What was the same? And also, what was different? What was not the same? Were there any surprises in your results that were different from previous studies? Did you go into your study with particular expectations that were either met or were not met by the findings from the data? And I love this last question here. What actually wasn't included? What didn't you discover? Because that's often really interesting as well. Your study would have discovered certain things, but what didn't it find? And why is that interesting? And for each of these questions, what you're doing is you're untying the implications of your results and you're coming up with explanations. So why was that the fact? You may have found out that 53% of people wear blue on a Tuesday. Now, this is really interesting because a previous study from 10 years ago said that only 20% of people wore blue on Tuesday. So why might this be? Why might the percentage have grown up so much over the ensuing years between the previous study and your study? Could it be because of X, or maybe it's because of Y? Those are the kinds of discussions, except obviously about a much more important, interesting topic than the colors people wear on Tuesday. Those are the kinds of things that you're unpicking here in the discussion chapter. These 6 bullet points that I've got here are just kind of some of the examples of things you might want to cover over this chapter. But what you're doing here, if you think about your thesis, I always encourage you to go back and think about the thesis structure. You've done the intro. You've shared what the previous studies, existing literature, and your literature review. You have shared your methodology, and then you've told the reader the findings that you've discovered. That's in your results section. Now here you start to look at the implications of those results. And an important way of doing that is by referring back to existing literature and comparing and contrasting what you found with what already exists, and then digging a little bit deeper to unpick the implications of those. That is you explicitly telling the reader where your new research comes into the picture. So I hope that was helpful. I actually love the discussion chapter because this is where you start thinking, and you've done this whole big project. This is where you go well, and so now you need to tell the reader, why is this important? What have you added to the body of knowledge? And you get to do that really explicitly. That's the mark of a good discussion chapter. So a reminder, at the bottom of my video, you'll see the link to my free Thesis Starter Kit short course. It's less than an hour of really helpful videos and a workbook, which if you're right at the beginning of your thesis journey, or if you're further along and you need a little bit of a friendly kick, push, kiss, hug, whatever it might be, that should help you get on track and stay on track with your thesis project. You can follow me on Facebook. You can connect with me via LinkedIn. I always love to know the kinds of things that you're working on in the moment. So share your stories, and I really look forward to connecting with you more. Bye.